Look, it's been very challenging, very difficult. It's to get anyone to hand over large amounts of money for something that's not even built yet is always a challenging time. I raised quite a bit of money through friends and family, and that was something that I never thought I would do. I would be able to do, but I've got a good close group of friends, and we just sat down and spoke about it, and they saw my journey, my progress, my evolution from the idea from when it first started to what I've got it to now. They saw the benefit that I was offering and the value and the potential of the idea. They're investing money in me predominantly as well, so, and they saw my drive and my motivation, and they all know me for a very long time, so they back me as someone who can get this off the ground. But still, it's a conversation. I said to him, look, 99% of these things fail. You know what I mean? But I'm like Han Solo. Never tell me the odds. You know what I mean? I'm like, I don't think about failure. I only think about success. But
going back to the beginning of this podcast, though, do you feel the pressure?
How the pressure? Well,
just that people have backed you. They've thrown money at you. But there is that chance of failure too, and then you're like, damn, and especially when you're talking about friends and family, do you see that as any sort of pressure?
Yeah, look, like I said, to me, it's not pressure, it's commitment. It's like, okay, feeling pressure, you can essentially control that yourself. You can allow yourself to feel pressure, or you can not allow yourself to feel pressure. Commitment. I'm committed now. You know what I mean? I've taken money from people. I'm accountable. You know what I mean? And that is also a big driving factor as well. But yeah, look, it's not something that I'm comfortable with. Okay, can you give me money? Can you give me money for this idea that I'm working on? But as I said, we all sat around and it was like, look, this is one of those things that we don't want to sit when we're 60 and go, oh man, we should have done that. We should have done that, and all my friends were the same. We're like, yep, okay, let's do it. So I was able to get an initial amount of money off the ground. I also got picked up by an investment portfolio company who own a digital agency. They really liked the idea. They saw the potential in the idea. And so they sort of backed me, where they sort of took me under their wing, under they call it the Nebula program, where, they sort of match me for a dollar for dollar value. So if I say, for example, I throw in 50K for development, they'll throw in another 50K of development. So they're not throwing in money, but they're building the actual platform. And that's a deal that any sort of founder can strike. And a deal that's sort of offered through various sort of development companies out there. But it's not something that you have to have a good idea, and they have to really back you to want to help you with your idea. So through those connections, as we were able to get a start, get the program, the application being developed. And, the government has been offering what's called an MVP grant. So the version that you see now for my application. So I'll just explain my application. My application is desktop software, right, which can be used on a phone. So we are building an actual application for it, which is halfway built. But at the moment, it's just desktop software, which is administration software for businesses that have group bookings, So my version, what you see now, is called an MVP, which is the minimum viable product. And for 5 or 6 years ago, the New South Wales state government has been offering grants for people like myself to get their minimum viable product off the ground. It's a $25,000 grant. I've been trying to get it for 4 years. Okay, first application got rejected. Second application got rejected, went in, saw them, got some feedback, adjusted that second application. So that was like my third, that got rejected. So, I was really disheartened because I was like, man, this 25 grand, I need to get this. I need to pay these bills. I need to get this grant. I need this to be part of my story. And I was really disheartened as to why I didn't get it, because even I thought I met all the criteria, but even if your business meets all the criteria, it's a competitive process, so you're still not guaranteed to get it. So it's very, very difficult.
Can I ask you though, when you say you went in and you got some feedback, what kind of feedback does the government, I guess, give you, or the agency that handles that case? Like what kind of feedback are they actually giving you?
Well, the form, the application, it's very ambiguous. You know what I mean? The questions, you could answer many different ways, So basically went in and I asked them why I failed, right? And I was told actually that I had quite a strong application. It's just that there was better applications for that round that they selected, okay? So, I thought I was pretty much done for. And then I rang them up. This was like a year and a half later. I just rang them up to say, look, I need this grant. This is what the MVP grant's for. I've got an MVP. I'm X amount of money in debt now. I need this grant. And I got onto the guy who actually runs the whole program just through this one phone call. He actually picked up the phone. And when you normally ring them, it's very hard to get through. It's a government department, right? So you never really get to the guy that you want to speak to. And I got to the main guy and I just told him my story. And he's like, Ben, come in. Let's go through it. It all sounds really good to me. I'm stoked that you're still trying, that you've made all this progress, you've made all this traction. You really have a good understanding of what you're trying to do. I think I can really help you out because, the more grants that they hand out, the better it is for their program. The more successful grants that they give people, the more successful their program is. So, they actually do try and help. So, I went and had another meeting with him. And look, when I read back my old application form, when I went through for the new application, I could see how bad my application was and how much my business had evolved and how much traction that I could prove that I had made since the previous application. So I knew why I didn't get the grant from the previous applications. Are
they on you though? Like, and what I mean by that, like, once you get it approved, is it a case of them signing your check over and that's it? Or like, do they now like need you to report back to them? Like, how does all of that work?
Yeah, they just gave me the first $9 grand, and they just did that. Look, yeah, you do have to have certain criteria met. They don't just go, okay, yeah, here's the money. You do have to, have all your T's crossed and your I's dotted, and you need to have the right things in place for them to hand over the money. It is a fair bit of work. I won't lie, it is a fair bit of work. But they just gave me the first 9K, and now I've just moved to the next stage where I'm filling out what's called a progress report for them. So I show them screenshots of the application, some feedback from my first customer, and a couple of other bits and pieces. And then once they're all satisfied with that, I think I go in and have a meeting with them. We sit down, we go through the whole thing, and then they hand over the rest of the money.